Today, on the Tom Kearin Channel, how one simple thought can change everything. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Tom Kearin Channel and studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning, and welcome back to the Tom Kearin Channel. We have a big video for you today, and we just released a massive one on our other YouTube channel, Be Something Wonderful. So be sure to check that out. And later this month, we're going to have our second live event, our second live stream, where I answer your questions in real time as you ask them. This will be on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel, February 23rd, 2025, at 12 noon time, Pacific time, right on the Be Something Wonderful membership channel. So if you're a member, join us. If you're not a member, check out the link below. Creators, I have a slightly different format today. You can see that I'm sitting down. I have my laptop here because I received an email from one of you where you articulated your experience manifesting and had some big insights that I think everyone, if you really understand what she's saying, we will all level up together with these insights. Very powerful. And I want to share this with you. I want to read her comments and then unpack them as we're reading them. And you will see that this one thought, this one idea that she had changed everything. Where she described that she's manifesting things left and right. But that's not the big deal to her. The big deal is that her understanding of herself as reality, as that I am awareness. So let's get to it. I'm gonna share some of her comments and then we're gonna talk about them. So she starts off by thanking the channel and Be Something Wonderful for the content and so forth. And she said, you know, thanks to you, thanks to Be Something Wonderful, I was able to realize the power that I am. This is how she started. I love this first part. I was able to realize the power that I am, right? That's where all your power is. And I've finally been able to free myself from all limitations after realizing they were actually all self-imposed. And I've literally been manifesting things left and right. I can't even keep track of them anymore, seriously, with a big exclamation point. Think of what a powerful start, right? Because all limitations are self-imposed. I am is without any limitation whatsoever. It's all potential. It's all possibilities. You are all things. We can only limit ourselves. Right there. You can't add or take away anything from I am. In other words, you couldn't be more or less than you are in this moment right now. Wow. You can only create an experience or reality or an assumption that you are. Right? So this is powerful. She says, the funniest part though, and this is what got me thinking, is that it doesn't even feel like anything crazy or exhilarating. Interesting. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy when I see all these wonderful things coming in. And it's always unexpected in the best possible way. But rather, it just feels normal. In other words, it's become natural to her. Right? It's this idea that you always manifest and get what you want, that you can live the life of your dream. It becomes natural. It doesn't become this thing that seems out of reach and difficult, that you have to do this process or that process to get to it. And I love that she said she's still having fun. It's still unexpected. Even though it's natural and normal to her now, and not crazy and necessarily not crazy and exhilarating, it's still a surprise. Because you're a source. You're the creator. You're always going to be surprising yourself, right? So she goes, which is what made me want to write this, because I had the realization this morning, she says, while drinking coffee. That is, we're actually always been doing this. In other words, I've talked about this idea that you're always manifesting and shifting realities. You're always creating your own life experience in every moment. You don't have to learn how to manifest. You don't have to learn how to shift realities. That's what you do as I am awareness. Do you see? We can only make it difficult. She goes, I mean, duh, of course we have. That's life. That's a human experience after all. but it's really just clicked for me now. In other words, what is life with the human experience? It's seeing yourself as source, as the creator, from infinite vantage points or viewpoints or perspectives. You, as that multidimensional being, creating an experience, infinite experiences of being that all that is, that everything, everywhere, all at once reality that you are, experiencing yourself. So she points to that, and it clicked for her, right? This one thought started clicking for her. She goes, since now, I'm at this point. I love she used that idea, since now. Think about her wording here. I love it because it's all now. Since now, I'm at this point where this process of conscious manifesting and selecting has become so natural to me. I realized I was doing it before just in a negative way against myself. In other words, we create these ideas or these experiences of unwanted realities or unwanted experiences, right? By limiting ourselves, right? By believing that we're not that person that we desire to be. Believing that we've never had money, that we've never been successful. These ideas, right? It creates that idea that, yeah, I've never been able to manifest that. All of that creates that experience. But you're still shifting and manifesting realities with that assumption. This is what she's saying. And she talks about, like, back in the day, I used to lay in bed making up all scenarios that would come up pretty much naturally. And they were mostly so negative, right? I would simply let them go thinking that they had no effect. I can also see why believing doesn't actually matter, but assuming does. In other words, it's your assumptions of who you are. That's what creates reality, right? Whether you believe it or not, when you assume who you are, that's going to the knowing. She goes, I wouldn't worry or be hyper aware of whether or not they're coming true, the things that she was imagining. I would just drop them naturally. And of course, they would materialize into my life. She's talking about things that she would imagine that weren't wanted. Some of them would materialize, some of them wouldn't, but it would this idea that it was a natural process of your I am awareness, who and what you're conscious of being. So then she goes, when discovering manifesting, when she discovered the law, I became so fixated on my thoughts and feelings, trying to control them, not realizing they were also fundamentally a part of the 3D physical experience, only unseen, and it was exhausting. Exactly. They're just changing circumstances as well. They're all part of that physical experience. She goes, and again, what I would want to bring into my life only sometimes materialized, because now I see that it was only when I was dropping it unintentionally that it would come. In other words, she was not hanging on to it. She used a powerful analogy of a boomerang. She goes, it's kind of like a boomerang. You have to throw it, which implies letting go, to actually have it return to you, simply because you know it will, and it's inevitable. That's powerful. The boomerang analogy is perfect, right? As you set an intention, as you desire something, you let it go. You allow it to be reflected in your physical experience. Its law, it must be reflected in your physical experience. Just as when you throw a boomerang, it comes back. Great analogy. She goes, and I realized that that's why all these techniques and such that are being taught out there have such varying results. And she goes, most of the time, many of them don't work. Here's her insight. It's because you believe in them, and the degree your belief in them tends to vary. And when actually the only thing to believe in is yourself. In other words, those techniques have no power. Your power comes from your knowing, your belief, your assumptions, your intentions. It all comes from you. And so if your level of believing in them is all over the place, the results are all over the place. But here's her big conclusion. This is the one thought that really changed everything, I think, for her. This is why she's manifesting things left and right. And she goes, since I am never changes, it's the most and only reliable thing to believe in. Wow. And really, you don't even have to believe in it, because it doesn't require your belief. I am is absolute faith. It's the absolute faith of a mustard seed. It's reality no matter what, no matter whether you believe it or not. This is what she got to. I love the way she worded this. She goes, so it made me realize, here is her big takeaway, that this journey of manifesting is more so a journey towards self, the idea of I am awareness, where essentially at first you're doing this process naturally, only unconsciously. She uses the word unconsciously, and that's okay, or subconsciously is probably a better word, right, for it, because in other words, you're automatically, or it feels automatic, creating and manifesting the circumstances of your life before you're consciously aware of what's going on, right? And what do we mean by that? Well, we touched on this in today's video on the Be Something Wonderful channel, the idea of subconscious programs. But remember, there's only consciousness. And the idea of subconscious is everything that you're not focused on at this moment. It's all subconscious, or in other words, below or subject to your conscious awareness, what you decide, your intentions. So in your physical experience, you're seeing a certain perspective or viewpoint, a vantage point of all that is, of reality, of that great subconscious, the great I am. And everything but that vantage point, perspective, and viewpoint is what you would call subconscious. It doesn't mean it's not there. It's all there, all at once. You're just focused on experiencing it from a certain viewpoint or vantage point, right? Putting space between the frames, putting space between the experiences, creating a linear experience in time and space. So this is powerful. It does unfold, because remember what we've talked about in the idea of subconscious. What is the idea of your subconscious, right? It's simply your neighborhood of assumptions and beliefs and definitions of who you are. And you believe them to be the truth of reality, where they're just assumptions about reality, about who you are. You are ultimate reality. Then you have your beliefs and assumptions and definitions of who you are. That's what you might call that subconscious that automatically manifests and creates the circumstances of your life. But as you become a conscious creator, as you decide, I am the creator, then they're no longer subconscious. You're declaring yourself as the one and only source of your circumstances of your life. So now you're naturally and consciously creating the circumstances of your life. You're allowing it to be automatic from the standpoint that I am creator. And so the events unfold automatically from within this increased awareness of all that you are. This is powerful. So she goes, at first, you're doing this process naturally, only unconsciously or subconsciously. Then you find out about the law, right? The law of manifestation, the law of assumption, the law of one, the law of I am, whatever you want to call it, right? The law of creating your own reality by who and what you're conscious of being. And then you end up doing it naturally again. I love this. But this time consciously. So what she's pointing at, right? There's a lot here. But what she's pointing at is that she's consciously and naturally creating and manifesting her own reality. In other words, letting it automatically and naturally unfold from this greater awareness of who she is without having to control it, right? Knowing that it's like a boomerang, that it will come back and she will have that physical unfolding within her, right? She's pointing to the idea that reality is a mirror, right? Whatever you decide, whoever you decide you are within must unfold or be reflected in the circumstances of your life. And now that she has this broader and bigger idea of who she is, she creates this broader and bigger idea of everything manifesting, everything unfolding. And this whole idea that we pointed to this morning that you've always had everything you desired. You've always been that person or that ideal that you've wanted to be. Now she knows it. And she's allowing that to be the only power that matters, the soul power, she called it. And she's aware aware of the soul power that you are. I love this. So again, she goes, now I'm doing it naturally again, but only consciously. I'm doing it naturally, only consciously this time. And I'm aware of myself as the soul power. Wow. Being aware of yourself, being aware of the soul power that you are. This is powerful. I want to reiterate here. Her point is it's always happening naturally, right? Manifestation or creating your own reality is natural. You're always naturally, as consciousness, as awareness, moving frames of reality, or consciousness being conscious of something, awareness being aware of something. And what's that something? Yourself. Seeing yourself from infinite vantage points and viewpoints and perspectives. But before that, she was allowing it more to be a subconscious creation, where she was trying to manipulate it and force it with processes and techniques, still not letting it be natural. Do you see it? So now she's saying, I'm creating naturally and consciously. Wow. In other words, that she has that subconscious identity of I am, she has broadened it to not include these limitations that, oh yeah, I only can manifest this, or I can only experience this, but yet I am the awareness with all of it takes place. This is powerful. We're going to talk more about this idea, but she ends it like this. She goes, and that's she goes, I'm not giving it away to chance or luck or tarot or astrology or even techniques. She goes, that's the most freeing thing ever, right? So, wow. This is big, guys. This idea that, remember, again, I just want to reiterate that you're always manifesting and creating your own reality. And many times, the only question is, either you're consciously creating and manifesting your life experience, or something or someone else is. And what's that something or someone else? It's that automatic definition or assumptions of who you are in your relationship to reality. And once you define that as I am the awareness, I am the creator in which it all takes place, now things must unfold according to your highest desires and your biggest dreams, like she is living. Do you see it? Now it's naturally and consciously unfolding versus naturally and subconsciously unfolding to a beliefs or assumptions that she didn't even question. Right? That's what we do. We believe some of these things that we assume about ourselves in reality to be so true that we don't question them anymore. And so they feel automatic. They feel like patterns that are happening. But she simply decided, she moved to this idea of questioning and understanding now that I can consciously, as the center of all that is, consciously and naturally create the life of my dreams, create everything that I want and desire. That's powerful. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Tom Kearin Channel and studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you for being with me. Thank you for also being part of the Be Something Wonderful YouTube channel. And if you're a member, being part of our membership channel, which has live events or live streams every month. More content coming with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude. This is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.